Vice Mayor, you're muted currently. Go ahead.
Alderman Michael Kane.
Alderman O'Kane.
He was on earlier too.
Alderman O'Kane, can you hear us? Yes, the headset's on. You can switch it to headset in Zoom. Like you can click on switch to headset. Alderman O'Kane, can you hear us? I'm gonna text him.
Yeah, it does not show him being muted on the screen.
What does he need to do, Agnew? Change the audio. I mean, under the mute button, change it to headphones. For microphone, changes microphone. Sorry about this, everyone.
Because I think if you use headphones, you have to change your settings on the computer to.
He does. We just sent him a message, so. Alderman Iverson, while we're working on that, can you hear us, sir? I can hear you, but you can't. We can't hear you. I think whatever you did last time so that we could hear you, we need you to do that again.
Hey, there he is.
It's Rick. What are you eating, Rick?
Yeah. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Alderman O'Kane, can you hear us, sir?
Here you have to try and get the participant thing to show up on the right-hand side.
Get out of full screen and hit participants.
Okay,
Oh,
I think I'm here.
okay, very
Okay,
good.
thank you.
Tried to use my earphones so I didn't hear the
Sherry
anything
Pickering?
outside.
Here.
Aaron Trolia.
Present.
Robert Williams. Chairman Mike Poor. Six present.
6 present. We do have a quorum. Before you, we have item number 2, the approval of the minutes. These will be from July 14th of 2020. Need a motion to approve those, please? Oh,
Somebody's on speakerphone.
Okay, Chairman, please try again.
okay. We have the minutes from July 14th, 2020. Is that the correct date? That's how I read it on my,
Yes, that's the correct date.
okay. From July 14th of 2020, need a motion to approve those. There's no corrections.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Why am I getting feedback when I speak?
Someone has a phone somewhere on speakerphone. So folks, if you could please if you're on a phone, if you could please turn it off of speakerphone and put it on use the headset on your phone. Okay, Chairman, let's try again. Sorry.
Okay, again, these were the minutes from July 14th, 2020, and all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, minutes are approved. Item number 3 is the approval of the agenda. If there are no correct or deletions, need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Pickering, second by, I believe that was Iverson.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, moving on to item number 4, audience comments.
Haven't received any emails, Chairman.
Okay. Since we're the only ones that can see each other and talk, we will move on to chairman's comments. Just hoping that
Chairman, I apologize. Please forgive me for interrupting. I'm not sure who, but someone has to be listening to this on talking, communicating through this via speakerphone. If you do that, it will continue to provide feedback and make it next to impossible for the rest of us to hear and have a conversation. So if you're on a desk phone, or especially if you're on a cell phone, please take it off of speakerphone. Okay, Chairman, thank you. I apologize, Chairman. Please try again.
Okay, chairman's comments, as we continue to see a rise in cases, please be safe and encourage everyone around you to be safe and stay healthy. That's all I have on that. Item number 6, approval of the payrolls. These will be from October 9th of 2020. Need a motion to put that on the table, please.
Alderman Stream, go ahead and put it on the table. Motion made.
I want to hear this though. I'm just not letting them see me.
Okay, it's made by,
Click it, no video.
motion made by Alderman Stream, and second by Alderman Troglia. Discussion.
God, my butt hurts so bad I can hardly stand it. I don't know what's going on.
Chairman Foster, this is Mayor Williams. We can hear you, sir.
Yeah, okay, I'm glad. I'll turn my mute on though.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion on the payrolls? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Alderman Iverson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Troya,
Yes.
Williams, Streebing,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
6 yes.
6 yes, thank you. Item number 7 is approval of the vouchers payable. This will be the special run of October the 8th and the regular run of payables for October 13th. Need a motion to put that on the table, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Pickering, second by Alderman Iverson. Questions or discussion? Okay, hearing none. Roll call.
I have a question.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, did you?
I thought I raised my hand.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sharon.
That's
I
okay.
forgot to look at those. I looked. Oh, there's another one too. Okay. Go
Okay.
ahead, Alderman Pickering.
On page 2 of 6, Department 15, it's the printing and binding, $4,000. What did we do?
Supplement. Might be for the code supplement.
Let me look that up real quick.
Okay, thanks. I'm sorry. I meant to call you today and I didn't have time.
4 to 6. 2 to 6.
We believe that it may be the code supplement. You know, every couple of years, we have to update our codes and we have to have those printed off for here in the library and such. But,
Okay.
Lisa's gonna check and verify that for
Okay.
you.
Yes, that's
Okay.
what it is. American Legal Publishing.
Yes, yes. Okay, thank you.
Yes, that's
Thank
what
you very
that
much.
is. You're
Okay,
welcome.
thanks.
Any other questions, Alderman Pickering?
No, that's all.
Okay, click her hand off.
Oh, take my hand off. Okay.
Alderman O'Kane.
Jeremy,
Yes.
Yes.
just a comment. Can I please have the grid lines back on this spreadsheet?
Sure.
Yeah, I had to get a ruler out and I don't even get it right sometimes.
I agree,
I'll
Mike.
make sure it's on there next week.
That's it.
Okay, take your hand off. All right, see no more hands or questions, roll call, please.
Alderman O'Kane,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Troya,
Yes.
Alderman Goody, thank you.
thank you.
Okay.
Williams, Streeting,
Yes.
Iverson,
yes,
4,
Yes,
6 yes.
6 yes, thank you. Item number 8 is public transportation, Director Bees, items of information, the monthly report, anything jump out at us?
I'm not gonna read back through what I've written. There's quite a pretty good overview about what's been going on at public transportation. But I will tell you that we did open the transfer zone up again today because it's getting cold in the mornings and in the evenings. And so, we closed off every other seat and done all the things that we can think to do and still allow people in. So we're going to have to get some no loitering signs so people will not just hang out down there. But anyhow, that's opened back up today. And I did want to make everyone aware that Chairman allowed me to take a bid that we had opened on Friday. I'm going to take it straight to council with his approval. And he said that it's an engine replacement and we're just going to take it straight to council on next week. So that's it.
And then Lisa, we require masks. We have hand sanitizer around the terminal and things, right?
Yes, we do. Yeah. And, I was going to elaborate on, Carl had talked earlier today about the ionizer that he bought, and I had asked him about it because we still had Newtons coming and doing spraying our buses and inside but now that the terminal's open, that's 3 different spots we're going to have to get cleaned. So I think we're going to go ahead and invest in one of those as well because, we could use that every night. They could use it on a different bus and just really stay on top of it that way. So
Sounds like a good move.
Director Beath, Director Carpenter probably can get you the information of where they got theirs, so.
he did. Yeah, he was very
Okay.
helpful.
Great, thanks, Carl.
Any questions for Director Bees?
I do.
Alderman Trogia.
It says that the revenue's down like 626%, then 1,400%. I don't understand. How could it be down more than 100%?
Because we're not taking fares right now. We're still not collecting fares. So
Well, no, but if it's down 100%, wouldn't that just be zero?
I don't know. 100%. Well, it was like there was one that said down 600 and some percent. So
Well, I know one's like 1,400%. I figured if it was down 100%, there just would be zero then.
well, okay. I put this together real quick, but that looks really drastic, though, doesn't it?
Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're down 100%, you'd just be at zero. I would.
So
That's fine. You can look into it later. I just
decimal
noticed
point or
that, and
something.
that was it.
Yeah.
It's just down 6 times what it was normally.
Well,
Basically,
in a
right?
typical month, we're like somewhere between 25 and 30,000. So that's about, with fare box revenue. And we have no fare box revenue. We have no ticket sales, which typically this time of year we have a lot of ticket sales, but nobody needs a ticket. So nobody's, the organizations call and get a purchase order and order $4,000 worth of tickets. They're not doing that right now. So
No, that's fine. I understand that it's down. I was just thought it was odd that you could be down more than 100% because of.
well,
I think you could be. Maybe, I don't know.
Yes, you're down 6.2% or 6.2 times more than normal. So on that 626.
well, the only thing I can say is think about $25,000 to $30,000 a month, and now we're more like in the $1,800 category. So, but that's that's money that, just so you'll know, that's money that comes from the CARES Act. So our CARES grant covers our fare box revenue loss.
Yeah, I mean, I realize you guys don't, the Danville mass transit doesn't cost the city anything. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Go ahead and click your hand off, Aaron. Okay, seeing no other questions, we'll move on to item number 9. Public Works, Director Carpenter. We have 9A, a resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement with Danville Sanitary District. Need a motion, please?
So moved.
Moved by Alderman Trozio. Is there a second?
Second.
Alderman O'Kane, second. Questions or discussion? Or Director Carpenter?
No, we have explained all this to each of the aldermen when we had meetings with them over some other circumstances, and this is simply us accepting the assets from the Danville Sanitary District. We'll be taking over all the lines that they actually own inside the city limits, other than the collector lines and the major ones. We do have a map. Sam sent that. I hope that all of you have it by now.
Yeah, we got it.
That actually show you in green what we are taking over, and in red what the sanitary district will still have under their possession.
Alderman O'Kane?
I'm just, it sounded good at the meeting, but I'm kind of uncomfortable with this. I don't know how we're gonna be paying for things. We're inheriting stuff that are 100 years old. Am I being heard? Because I'm getting a lot of feedback.
Yeah, we hear you. I hear you.
I hear you.
We're inheriting things. We're taking over things that are 100 years old. What income are we getting from this that's going to offset this? That's been totally explained to us.
To shed a little more light on it, they own all the collection system in the Heights, the majority of it in Southtown, and we are currently still collecting the fees from that. If we have two options here, Alderman, is we either accept all this and we start maintaining it for the public, or we let them continue to have it, and then we have to give all that revenue to them instead, because those are not city-owned lines, they're district-owned lines.
Okay, but what kind of revenue are they receiving, and is it sufficient to pay for that? Would we be better off not receiving that revenue and letting them maintain it? Especially
no, it's roughly $400,000.
What?
It's roughly $400,000
a year.
Yes, and,
okay,
and that'll maintain it.
And in the next 10 years, you're talking $4 million. Is any of that's going to have to be replaced in the next 10 or 12 years or something?
Well, sure it would. That's all part of what we showed you earlier in other meetings.
Yeah, well, I almost feel like they ought to pay us a little bit for taking it off their hands, even though we've been receiving revenue for it. I'm just not comfortable with it unless I see some better numbers in front of me. That's all I got.
Alderman O'Kane?
Alderman O'Kane, I would just add that what they're going to say to us is that we've been receiving this $400,000 that they should have been receiving for years, and it's something that that Director Orange and Engineer Schnell knew about the entire 20-plus year careers that they had here. And now that they're over at Danville Sanitary District, of course, and it's not to their advantage to be receiving that money, they are, that's why we had entered into this conversation. So if you think about it, we've received $400,000. So, well, when was the Heights, do we know when the Heights sewer was installed, Carl, roughly?
No, I don't think there's any true records that would clarify that for us.
Well, at least probably 40 years. So what they've said to us is, you've been receiving $400,000 for 40 years. I mean, that's millions of dollars. So what they would say is, we've already received millions of dollars for it, Alderman O'Kane. And as much as,
What have we
I don't like to agree with either of them, they have a point.
What have we
Let
spent
me,
over the
let me
years?
call on Sam Cole, put his hand up. I know Bob did before him, but maybe Sam has a little more history.
Yeah, so I just wanted to add a comment. In considering this transfer, one of the biggest factors is that these are two government entities that are serving the exact same people. And what we've presented to you, we've kind of brought you up to speed on where we feel like the sanitary sewer situation is overall. And that situation is really not any different for the district or the city. So these assets are going to have to be dealt with and funded by the same people, whether they're owned by the sanitary district or they're owned by the city. And we believe that the most efficient way for the government entities to serve the taxpayers is going to be to align all the collection system assets with one entity, and for the other entity to manage the interceptor sewers and the treatment, because that's what they specialize in and this is what we specialize in. So it's as much about that and about moving the city in a direction to where government is best serving the people in the long run than it is about the conversation about the specific value of this asset or that asset, because we're really taking a long-term outlook at this thing. And that's the point that you had about they should pay us about for these assets or not. That was discussed and proposed by the city years ago, and the district has no interest in pursuing that because that's not it's not advantageous to them. And I think that's going to throw up a barrier that's going to keep this from all working out for the betterment of the community in the long term. So anyway, that's just my, a couple perspectives that I have on that. So.
Okay. Thank you, Sam. Bob Iverson, Alderman Iverson.
Actually, Sam answered exactly what I was going to ask. So I was going to ask what the benefit was to the city, and Sam answered it. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Iverson. Alderman O'Kane?
I'm totally against this, but I'm very uncomfortable with it. Before our next meeting, I would like to see some real numbers in front of us. Number of miles we're taking over and projected cost on that, what we've received in the past and stuff. So I won't be so uncomfortable putting the public taking care of this many more pieces of sewer lines.
Okay. Thank you, Alderman O'Kane. Anyone else? I don't see any more hands. Okay. Seeing no more hands, roll call, please.
Alderman Pickering,
Yes.
Troya,
Yes.
Williams, Streeting,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
No.
4,
Yes.
5 yes.
5 yes, thank you. Item 9B is a resolution approving an extension of the franchise agreement with Comcast of Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, LLC. Need a motion to put that on the table, please?
Alderman Strebe will make the motion.
Second.
Second.
Okay. Alderman Streetman made the motion. Who was second?
Pickering.
Alderman Pickering, second. Questions?
Can you just briefly explain what this is? I never did kind of get this.
Dr. Carpenter?
Chairman, I could possibly take this.
Oh, there he is. Corporate Counsel, Mockbee?
Yeah, we've got a agreement with Comcast that's expiring at the beginning of November. And we are in negotiations with them about this. So this is basically an extension of our current agreement until the beginning of, I guess, the end of January, so we can negotiate with Comcast and get the best deal for the city as far as the franchise agreement that we have going on right now. The previous agreement was 10 years, and I would assume the new agreement would be 10 years. So this is just extending the current agreement for a couple months so we can negotiate and work that out.
Okay, thank you.
Alderman O'Kane?
Well, and this is temporary, and I have no problem with this. But the future, I wish you guys would go out to some side parties that might give us some suggestions, because I know what's changed with the Comcast and everything they supply in the last 10 years, the next 10 years, I have no idea figure out what's going on. 10 years almost scares me anymore, because in 5 years, we may be watching TV on our wrist and not have anything in our houses. So please let us know what's going on as far as this bigger negotiations. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman O'Kane. Anyone else? Okay.
Chairman, if I,
Yes, Alderman, Mayor Williams.
yes, one of the reasons why we're asking for an extension is I think Comcast makes an awful lot of money in this area and off of us. And Admiral has been able to negotiate some amazing deals with us in terms of the services that they provide to us and for the rate that they provide. However, they have to pay us a franchise fee to be here. And so essentially, I don't think that they're paying us enough. And so we've asked for a brief extension because I basically want to tell them that they need to pay us more. And if not, then we definitely need to all the more so looking into shopping around. Now, I would tell you that a couple of the places that are nearby that have capacity, we would not want to deal with them, right? Like the service is not as good or as reliable, but that doesn't mean that Comcast shouldn't give us a better share in the revenue that they receive on behalf of the city. So the reason we've essentially asked for a short extension for us to get those details worked out, so we get the best deal for the people of Danville.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mr. Chairman.
Alderman Iverson.
Yes, I just wanted to say I'm happy to hear what the mayor just said. Those were almost exactly the words I was going to use. I think Comcast has done a great service to us through the years, but they've also made a lot of money, and I think we could work out a deal. But like Alderman O'Kane says, 10 years from now, we're going to be in Star Trek land, and who knows what kind of technology is going to be out there. So I hope we make it flexible enough that we can get things as they change. But I'm very encouraged to hear what the mayor says about we need to make it a little stricter.
Thank you, Alderman Iverson.
Okay.
Chairman, I believe Alderman Streaming is.
Oh, okay. I didn't see his hand.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah, here's my.
That's that blue hand down on the participant side.
Oh, okay. We've had this franchise fee even when Time Warner was here, so it goes way back. For many years, yes. We've had franchise fees with these guys, whether it be Warner or Comcast or somebody. So, just for information.
Thank you, Alderman Streaming. Okay, I don't see any other hands. Roll call, please.
Chairman Poor, I apologize.
Yes.
I think Alderman Foster was trying to get our attention, I believe.
I don't even see him on my screen.
Chairman, Chairman Foster, did you say never mind? He's muted. Yeah.
He's muted.
He just muted.
Okay, I don't see him as being logged in, but
he is. Chairman, okay. You're muted. There.
I'm trying to get Mike's attention, yes.
Yes, sir, we can hear you now.
Okay, fine. First, I don't have a participant button, and I've been using Zoom for months. So I don't know, maybe because I'm not officially on this committee, it doesn't matter. I'll just raise my hand and make noise. But what I want to ask is one thing, do any other cable companies ever want or express an interest in making bids? And are we just stuck with this Trinity? Because I've used them since they've been here, and I've had some problems with them, real problems over the years.
Chairman Foster, I'm not certain because I have never been a part of this process before. Yeah. To my knowledge, I haven't had anyone reach out to me, anyone else reach out to me since I've been mayor, but that's not to say that people have never expressed an interest. I just haven't experienced that myself.
Well, maybe he should check the contract and see what our obligation is to them. Can we even solicit bids like we do on everything else?
We'll check into that, Chairman.
That's all.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. I see some more hands. I'm not sure who was up. Engineer Cole, or Director Cole.
Yes, I just wanted to comment, and this is probably something that Chuck needs to comment on as well. I think the franchise agreement, my understanding, it is not limiting who can come to Danville.
No.
It is giving permission to that entity to utilize right of ways and things like that for a fee. So my understanding is we are not limiting other companies from coming here. We are expressly giving permission to the one that is requesting a franchise agreement and permission to do so. So this does not prohibit others from coming here. Is that correct, Chuck? Is that your understanding as well?
Yeah, that is my understanding as well.
Okay. Because I know I get solicitations from other cable companies all the time in the mail, switch to us and blah, blah, blah. But anyway. Okay, let's see. Alderman O'Kane.
Well, I was going to say that's what the short-term agreement says, is just the right to be here. Also, AT&T has been here for several years, but they're in very, very limited areas. I know north of Logan and or east of Logan, west of Logan, and north of Voorhees, they've got an area in there that they're taking care of, but they're very, very limited doing cable. That's all I got.
Okay. Sam, take your hand down unless you have something else. Okay. Seeing no more hands or discussion, roll call, please.
Alderman Troya,
Yes.
Williams, Streeting,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
O'Kane. Alderman O'Kane,
Yes?
Pickering,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
6 yes.
6 yes, thank you. 9C is a resolution approving the downtown TIF RIP grant application. Need a motion to put that on the table, please.
Alderman Straubing, so moved.
Pickering second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion. I have one question. I was going through the TIF. What is the property assembly line item under the TIF districts for the downtown? It says new highlighted, 150,000 in this budget. When as before the budget was about 56, almost 57,000.
Yeah, I can answer your question. Typically that falls under demolitions or grading of lots, just getting them shovel ready for development.
Okay. So that's okay. So that's basically infrastructure and things like that in the.
Actually, there is a public infrastructure line item as well. The best example I can give is the oil change demolition that just occurred on Fairchild and Vermilion. That was funded with site assembly funds out of TIF.
Okay. I see. Okay. Alderman Trolia.
Okay, well, I read through there and I see, I talked to Logan on this and Chuck. They were originally in the application, it says they're limited to 25% or 50,000, but in their application, they asked for 50% and almost 105,000. So I looked through the application and I see it goes back to Pete Blackman actually, or the address is for it. So I called him and went there and looked at it. And I thought he did a really nice job redoing the bar, which I thought that was a gigantic project. I'm honestly really impressed that he got it done. I think he'll do the same with this. I mean, his bids all look good. It looks like he's doing he looks like he has everything put together and ready to go. I think this is the only way this project is going to work. And I'm honestly really surprised the bank even is willing to finance this. I mean, the only way this is going to work is if we give them a bunch of TIF money. And then they don't get it until it's completed. I would like to see it raised to 50% and the 105,000 that they're asking for. Maybe, I don't know if Chuck or Logan could address that and see if that could be an option of giving them more of what they're asking for on this. If either one of them can answer that, please.
This is, just real quick though, this is not for Pete Blackman. This is for Gordon Tennis.
Well, but it does involve Pete. I'm not for sure all the partners, but it does involve Pete because it goes back to his address at 310 Oak Street.
That's the LLC address. There's 5 individuals in that, in Danville Development.
Yeah, and I did meet with Pete. He is one of them. Because I called him and asked him.
Is one of them.
There's Pete.
I apologize. We've just dealt exclusively with Gordon Tennis, so I didn't know the names of all the other partners. I met Mr. Walsh, but I did not know that there were all other partners. This is not for the bar. It has nothing to do with that building at all.
I realize that. I just knew Pete's address, so I called Pete to ask him about it, and he did all the construction on the bar, and I thought he did a really good job on that. I mean,
yeah, this is
I thought that was
one,
almost like a hopeless project, and he was able to complete it, and it looks great. And I would like to see him to be able to do this one. I mean, he is a member of those 5 people.
I guess my question kind of on that line, the criteria points for the downtown RIP criteria scoring form, and they had 12 points, and the 10 plus is 50%. That's why I was kind of questioning why it wasn't, the 50% of the project cost.
Yeah, I can address that. It's the downtown or any grant guideline overall. It's publicly posted on our website as well. Is capped at $50,000 unless a redevelopment agreement is struck. And in terms of numbers for this project, getting rid of the guidelines in total, I've got a number of $60,000 at the very top end of the increase of EAV, so 180 grand in fair market value. And if my math is right, based on the current taxation rate, we would receive $50,000 back into the TIF district within 7 years, which in my experience is typically the sweet spot. 7 years, we would receive $51,000 back based on a $60,000 increase in EAV, which I think is pretty high under the characteristics of the other EAVs around the downtown district.
Okay, so that's where the 50% comes in, and or the 50,000 total.
Yeah,
and it's set at a 7-year payback, can't go higher than that, or.
This is just based off of, it can go higher or lower, and I was going off of the typical guidelines for RIP grants, downtown RIP grants. So 50 grand is what I'm capped at, unless waived otherwise, I'm assuming. And I believe corporate counsel can answer that question.
So I mean, out of the base, I mean, so getting back to that property assembly, that's not money that can be used for a project like this, then.
No, just redevelopment agreements or grants for this kind of project.
Let's see. Alderman Trozier, you're still on. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would just worry if we don't, say we choose to give them 50 or 0, and then, I mean, they requested just shy of 105,000. I would be worried then, that if the project doesn't go through, then eventually we have to tear the building down. And that would be cost as much, or if not more, probably, than what we would have gave them in TIF money, and we have a building that's redone then. I mean, I just don't think, unless we give them quite a bit of TIF money, these projects downtown just aren't going to make sense. I mean, they're really big kind of money pits.
I believe they have replaced the roof on those 3 addresses, or it's one building, but there's 3 separate addresses.
Okay. Yeah, I went down and went through them actually, but okay.
And what the other thing that I would say that's important for you all to know is that we've already given them money. They had a portion of the building that was actually very unsafe and collapsing, and we provided them funds to demolish that already. So they have already received additional money from the city of or they have already received additional or money from the city of Danville. So this 50,000 would be on top of what they've already received, actually.
Okay, how much did they receive?
Yeah, off the top of my head, around 8 to 10 grand.
Okay, was that to demo the back portion of the building?
Correct.
So is it, I guess here's my question, and it would probably be for you, Mr. Mockabee, is can we increase it to their grant amount that they're asking for?
What I would say is if we follow our city policy that Logan talked about, and I would back him up on that, we should not give them more than the 50,000 because it would go against the policy as far as this being above the 50,000 and there's not a redevelopment agreement in place. So if we're going to follow the city policy, it would be my position that we should not give them more than the 50,000 that's set forth.
What would be the process or the procedure for a redevelopment agreement?
Yeah, so it's basically just a pretty lengthy contractual agreement to where it's based off, we come to terms of a percentage of reimbursement based on the property tax increase or increase in EAV. So typically those it's an abatement of taxes on the TIF increment. So we would come to an agreement between 30 and 50% per year to an agreed term length or capped amount.
How much is in the reserve fund right now?
For downtown TIF?
Yes.
It's around 187,000 in cash.
Has anybody else applied for it? That's been able to...
In the past, we've received a couple of applications, this group being one. We have 2 more developers looking into it. I don't have anything concrete. We have a couple of demolitions in the planned works. Other than that, no.
Okay, so even if you did the demos, would you have enough money to do a larger amount for them?
A minor amount. I would suspect that the demolitions plan would surpass over $100,000.
Okay.
Okay. And with that, where does the reserve show up anywhere in the budget? I mean, I went through that budget trying to go through things, reserves and things. Is that just?
Comptroller Massey can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe our new FY22 budget should reflect us bringing all of the funds out of reserves and into the cash account. Typically, it's good practice to try to zero the books every year on the TIF account. So that's what we're going to attempt to do coming up into the FY22 budget.
Okay. And Ashton, just on that page for the downtown Danville, for downtown TIF district, it actually says total tax increment financing East Voorhees. I see at the bottom on that line item, which I didn't know if that was just a carryover from the page before or.
So the transfer to from reserve line, is that what you're looking at?
Well, but right below that, it says total tax increment finance in East Voorhees instead of downtown. That's not downtown.
No, that's a different TIF district. That's Fund 121. Downtown TIF is Fund 122.
But I'm saying on the downtown Fund 122, it says total tax increment financing East Voorhees Street.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. So that should say
downtown.
Downtown. Okay. So that. So is that
that's a for the downtown TIF fund. That was just a mislabel when the sheet was copied.
But what I'm saying is Logan said there's a reserve of how many 100-some-odd thousand?
187.
That's not reflected on the budget. The budget just addresses expenses and revenues.
Okay.
That's not listed in the budget, but you'll notice that if you go through the different TIF funds, They're budgeted at a deficit because like Logan said, we're working to use up those reserve funds because, I mean,
Oh, okay, okay.
dollars are collected through property tax for the purpose of, developments in those areas, not to be held on to.
Okay, so the transfer from reserve that's the downtown Danville reserve that's funding the 150 and a couple other thousand and different other things. So that's kind of using up that money. Okay,
That's representing that we're spending 153,000 more than what's coming in next year.
okay.
But it's
And that-
using up those reserve dollars.
Okay, okay. Alderman O'Kane.
Well, just a couple quick questions. These buildings all vacant, nobody in them, right?
Just 123 is vacant space. 121 and 119, I do believe, have tenants.
Okay. And then have we talked to the applicants about the difference between their application and the dollar amount on this?
Yes.
Do they know about it?
Yes.
And they're fine with it.
Yeah, they had to speak with their bank about this, and they decided to go ahead and move forward and send the $50,000 request to council.
Okay. Thank you.
Alderman Trollia.
Oh, I didn't know my hand was up. I was going to say, when I did talk to them, they do have a third tenant. They do have a tenant ready to move into 123 if it is done, if that one's finished. But I forgot to take my hand off.
Okay.
The mayor's got a question.
Chairman, if I
I'm
may,
sorry, Mayor.
just to give you a little bit of background information, I've been involved with the conversations on this project as well. And quite frankly, I'm just going to say this politely. I don't want to air things. When the first project was done that we gave TIF money for this, it was not done correctly, and it was not done. A permit was not even pulled, and it was left in an unsafe condition, quite honestly, which really frustrated me. They have corrected that, thankfully. They're in the process of correcting the issue with the safety, but they did get a permit pulled and things like that. I think that this is more than generous, especially considering that one of the partners owns another building in downtown that now is unoccupied recently, and that sadly we might have to deal with in the future because it had to be let go. And I think that this is very generous, and I believe that the partners appreciate this. Of course, anyone would ask for more. I think giving any more than we are is completely unfair to the citizens, and that's all that I would offer on that at this time.
Other questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Alderman Williams, Streving,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Troya.
Yes.
4,
Yes.
6 yes.
Yes, thank you. 9D is a resolution approving a budget amendment in the downtown TIF District Fund 122. Need a motion for that, please?
Alderman Stribing make the motion.
Okay, there's
Pickering second.
Pickering second. Questions?
And what are we doing here? Are we just
Yeah.
transferring out of the reserve?
Yeah, it's just to bring in enough money from the cash account to fund this grant if approved.
Okay, thank you.
So this ties in with the 50,000 we just voted on, but you're bringing in more money out of the cash reserve to put into the TIF fund to get the 50 grand. Is that correct?
That's correct. We will transfer over to make up out of a line item transfer, so we don't have to bring in the full $50,000.
I don't see any hands. Roll call, please.
Alderman Streving,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Prolia,
Yes.
Williams, Poor,
Yes.
6 yes.
6 yes, thank you. 9E is a resolution awarding bid number 662 for outdoor lighting equipment for the historic Ellsworth Park redevelopment project. Need a motion to put that on the table?
Alderman Strebe, make the motion.
Okay, second.
Okay, questions?
It did look like this bid is just materials. Is there, how come no labor's on there?
That should be the total bid, if I'm not mistaken. I wasn't able to be present when this was open. Steve Lane opened this. This was the low bid. So I don't know. I didn't actually look over everything that was in that contract. But that is the entire amount right there.
Okay, so that includes labor?
Yes, and then some of it will be done by our guys as well, because this is that OSLOD grant, and we're required to do a percentage of the work ourselves.
Okay, thank you.
Don't see any hands. Roll call, please.
Alderman Iverson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Prolia,
Yes.
Williams, Strebe,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
6 yes.
6 yes, thank you. 9F is a resolution approving the purchase of a 2019 dump truck. Need a motion to put that on the table, please?
Alderman Strebe will make the motion.
Pickering second.
Okay. Questions?
I did.
Alderman Troll, you have a question?
Yeah, I did. I mean, that's why is it so expensive?
That's not expensive. A normal dump truck like that would cost around $165,000 or more. This being a year-old model, it is a brand new unit. But we're getting a lower cost because of that. And it's also not as big as some of the other dump trucks we've purchased in the past. This truck will specifically be used primarily only for solid waste when we're doing our sweepings with the Pelican sweepers. We've gone for 14 years talking about buying a truck for solid waste to use it for that, because this time of year when the street and sewer departments are finishing up with their projects and we're getting trucks ready for snow removal season, we have to collect all the leaves off the street, and we don't have dump trucks to do it with quite often. And it just makes it hard to do. So this truck will be exclusively used by solid waste, but in the wintertime, we will get a plow for that to utilize it for that as well. The rest of the time, it's dedicated to solid waste. And with the increased illegal dumpings, it'll also help us. A lot of the places they're dumping now are in the alleys and vacant lots and in alleys. We cannot get down there with a grapple truck to pick that stuff up. And it's really hard loading a rear loader with a skid steer. If we've got a dump truck, we'll be able to just load it with a skid steer and pick up these illegal dumpings that much quicker. Can't hear you, Alderman.
And this has, the sides are going to be short on this, not the great big tall size like are on a regular dump truck. So that's going to make it easier.
That's correct. That it won't be nearly as high. The advantage of this truck, Dave Rui and I actually went and test drove one down at Ron Equipment. This thing has such a tight turning radius. We'll be actually able to use it in cul-de-sacs for illegal cleanups. We can use it once we have to put a plow on in the winter. Instead of a 1-ton, it's a bigger truck. The other advantage to this is it's actually under the weight that requires a CDL driver. So in the summertime, if I've got auxiliary workers, they can drive this truck without a CDL license. And it frees up our union personnel to do more of what they're supposed to do.
I see it says 5-speed. Is it automatic 5-speed or is it?
It's automatic, yes.
Oh, it is automatic. Okay.
Yeah.
And
the warranty on this truck is outstanding. There's no one else that gives you a 7-year, 5-year warranty on anything. The most we ever get on an engine is 2 years, and this far exceeds that.
You're good with that engine?
Yeah, this actually is a Toyota engine. This is a truck built by Toyota.
Okay.
It is built here in America, though. It's not built overseas. So.
Right.
And then, of course, Ron Equipment is a local dealer that we do a lot of business with, and they will be installing the dump and the plow package on it for us as well.
Don't see any hands. Roll call, please.
Alderman O'Kane,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Trolia,
Yes.
Streety,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes, and living on a cul-de-sac, I hope to see them this winter.
Four,
Yes.
6 yes.
Yes, thank you. Item 9G is an ordinance authorizing the purchase of real property from the Vermilion County trustee. I need a motion to put that, please.
Green, so moved.
Second, okay.
Okay, questions? Is this-
Alderman Purr, I can give the council a little background. This is actually an empty lot that had a house burned down on it years ago, that finally got demolished. We didn't demolish it. It was demolished by someone else, and we just did final cleanup on it. Edgewood Park Circle, for those of you that are not aware of it, is a very lightly traveled street. It currently has 2 residents that live there. And this is an area that in the future probably would be done away with, abandoned, the roads closed off so that we didn't have to try to maintain something that's never used by the citizens of Danville.
Okay. Is this prior to the tax auction or?
Yes, that's what this would be.
I recognize Kim's name, that's why. Okay. Seeing no hands, roll call, please.
Alderman Pickering,
Yes.
Trolia, Williams, Streety,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
6 yes.
6 yes, thank you. Director Carpenter, you want to go through the items of information?
Oh, yes, we will start sweeping in earnest next Monday. Of course, we're full-fledged into the yard waste right now. More leaves will start falling off. You'll see the trucks out picking those up. We are currently, of course, it's contracted out, but they've torn out the median over there on Logan Street in front of the hospital. They actually poured some concrete today, Dave, and then next week they'll be overlaying that with asphalt. By the end of next week, you won't even know that median ever existed in that small area. That'll help the traffic in and out of the hospital tremendously. What else we got going, Dave? And our tree crew continues cutting trees down. That's on the list daily. We still have a paint crew out that's painting crosswalks and intersections when the weather permits. And by this time next week, we'll probably start getting snow plows, trucks in, and begin working on the snow plows for them as well. We do have the salt. The state put out prices, but they did not sign the contract with the suppliers yet. But it looks like salt's going to be tremendously lower this year.
Ooh.
1/3 of the cost of last year. So we will be able to stockpile it. We're going to go for 120% of what we received last year. Going to end up saving 1/3 of the money we spent last year just doing that. So hopefully we'll have enough salt to last us throughout the year and a decent amount to start off the following year and maybe not have to buy as much next year if the price goes up. That's about where we're at right now.
All righty. Any questions on the items of information?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Alderman Iverson.
Is this the meeting you're talking about? That's the meeting in front of the hospital that has the wrought iron fence that they just put in a couple of years ago? Is that what you're talking about?
Correct. The small section from the emergency exit entrance to the south. as far south as it went. We're leaving everything north of where
Okay.
the emergency exit entrance went. And this is in conjunction with what the hospital wanted as well.
Yeah. Okay. It always did seem a little strange to have all that. So, okay. Thank you.
Hello,
Chairman, you got
Okay.
are we waiting on anything at Fairchild and Hazel? I don't see anybody there besides the pylons.
Yeah.
I'll let Sam answer that. He could give it to you straight from the horse's mouth.
Carl, you don't want to take the heat on this one?
I'll take the heat, but I'm sure you know more about it than I do, Sam.
Pretty much the project is wrapped up other than sodding, and we're waiting on the company that supplies the control components for the traffic signals. They have to come configure them. That's the holdup right now. We didn't want to open it up and then change traffic patterns a bunch and risk extra accidents. So right now we're tentatively scheduled for Monday that they should be in here, Monday the 19th, to come in and configure that. So that's the holdup on that, and we hope to be done soon.
Hopefully before the kids go back to school.
Yeah, I mean, we can at least get done by the end of next year and we'll be fine. It's been actually, Grant, we knew we were pushing the schedule really hard on what we originally were intending to get done. And it's been a bit of a blessing in disguise on many of our projects this year. So I am probably one of the few people that in certain ways I'm thankful for COVID this year.
No.
So
Then you're not running for office.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, Alderman Kane, thank you. Don't see any other hands, so we'll move on to item number 10, finance. Comptroller Massey. 10A is a resolution approving a contingency payment, authorizing a budget amendment in Finance Fund 011. Need a motion to put that on the table, please?
Alderman Straven so moves.
Pickering second.
Okay. But don't see any hands up. Okay. That was an easy one. Roll call, please.
Alderman Troya,
He said yes.
Williams, Strebe,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
6 yes.
6 yes, thank you. I believe these were all sent because they didn't have numbers on them before. So 10B is a resolution authorizing an agreement for provision of electricity for the city-owned buildings and facilities. I need most put that on the table, please.
Chairman, would it be acceptable with you if we,
Oh yeah, these all deal with the city. Yeah, we could take B, C, and D together if there's no objection. They all deal with the franchise agreement and different things with Ameren.
In that case, Alderman Straven will make the motion.
Okay, second.
Okay, questions on the agreements? Alderman Kane, Alderman Iverson.
So do B and C, they're not technically in agreement with Ameren, are they? They're with the company.
Well, just Good Energy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the company that gets the bids, you pay a certain amount to the power company. It's that whole, picking your franchise. Okay.
Yeah, it just says on that your utility just has Ameren, so.
Yeah, okay.
We do have Jared McMorris with us from Good Energy. If you would like, he's a representative with Good Energy, who's a broker for electrical providing. So if you'd like to talk to him, he can answer any questions that you have.
Yeah, if he could do a brief synopsis of that would be great. 'Cause I know people don't understand that really. I know I don't very well. But quickly, since got my mic on, The other part is the agreement with Ameren. So they will be paying us an amount annually and we won't be getting the 60% discount on streetlights. Do I read that correctly? It's sort of swapping. We won't get one thing, but we'll get something else.
Ashlyn, would you like for me to take those? Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Jared McMorris. I'm a energy consultant from Good Energy. My company has been working very closely with Ameren, trying to get municipalities throughout the Ameren territory moved over from the discount franchise agreement, the 60% discount franchise agreement, which is on your streetlights, moved over to a cash basis. And this is something that the city of Danville is already on a cash basis for your gas franchise agreement, which is already in place. The reason for that, and the reason why Ameren is trying to do this, is the ICC had said you cannot give a discount on something that you set the price, Ameren. So instead of giving a discount, they're now forcing all municipalities at some point to go ahead and switch over to the cash program. Your current agreement is going to expire in 2042. So this would just be an addendum to switch that over, which was be the maximum amount that the city could obtain from a discount into cash payments up front. Now, when I say what you could obtain, it's $275,000 a year. That's what you have coming to you. That's what's agreed upon in your current discount program. However, based off of usage, you're currently only utilizing $246,000. So you're essentially losing, $20,000 to $25,000 a year in discounts currently. So right now that's going to be changed over from a discount straight to cash, which you can utilize however you'd like, pay it towards your streetlights. Then the second item of benefit to this is, in the past, you should not have had your streetlights with a third-party supplier to maintain that discount. So with you moving over to cash, you can now shop your streetlights on a third-party discount, which are part of the proposals that I sent over to Ashlyn. So if these were to, just so everyone's clear, if these were to move forward to full council next Tuesday, you would want to put Ordinance D, which is the franchise agreement, first. Because you want to approve the franchise agreement first and then potentially the streetlight third-party agreement with the winning supplier. You don't want to approve a winning supplier and then for some reason the next agreement or the franchise agreement would fail, because then you would have your streetlights not getting the discount and nor would you have passed the cash agreement. So just a little housekeeping there for you going forward. So it should read D, then C, then B.
Good point. Thank you, Jared. Let's see. It looks like Alderman Iverson, you have a question?
I'm sorry, I just didn't click my hand off. Sorry.
Yeah. Alderman O'Kane?
Are these rates going up or down from years past?
Well, the market
are they following the trend?
The market goes up and down. It is in a down moment right now. The lowest point was sometime here this summer in the heat of COVID. It is now starting to recover. These are historic lows that we haven't seen in about a decade. You can't only blame it on COVID. There's lots of other factors going into this. The energy market is driven off of natural gas. And right now, currently with fracking going on, the United States is the Saudi Arabia of natural gas. So that's why it's also a hot button item in the political landscape, fracking. Fracking keeps energy costs down throughout, especially the Midwest. But in the state of Illinois, we have either the second or third lowest pricing, and that's including the ComEd folks, which is much higher in the entire United States. So 2 years ago, we were seeing prices in the fives and upper fives, and now for your commercial industrial, we're in the mid fours. So it is a low point at the moment.
And the 24 months, is that where they're breaking and jumping the prices up?
Well, I tend to like to try to do both of your contracts so that they co-expire at the same time. And looking at both of them, the target number seems to be 24 months as far as being a good point. I don't really like to go, definitely not 48. If you were to do 36, there's an argument to be made for that, just because we are at a low point in the market. But I would also tend to not want to go too far out, just because you don't ever know what's going to happen 2 years from now. And so, give it another fair market price, get another pricing bid. As you can see, we've got 5 suppliers on the street lights, and also five different companies on your commercial or C&I accounts. So I always like to try to stick to 2. There could be an argument for 3 if you'd like. You could talk me into it, but my recommendation is the 24-month for both of these terms. And here's the other thing: in some of our meetings, you were currently with the third-party supplier AEP, which seems to be a billing headache. AEP is currently the lowest supplier for the commercial industrial. So as of today, now again, we'll get new pricing a week from now. This always changes on a daily basis, but as of today, AEP would be the lowest for the 36. So currently, Homefield is the lowest for the 24 on the commercial and industrial.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions for Mr. McMorris?
Chairman, just a comment, if I may.
Go ahead, Mayor.
Thank you. What I appreciate about this is it saves us, just in our agreements alone, almost $38,000 over the next 2 years. But with the additional money that we're going to be realizing, that we're not getting from the upfront payment right now of $30-some thousand a year, essentially over the next 2 years, we would have a net savings of almost $100,000. So I just want to say I really appreciate Ashlyn and Dave and all the good work that you guys have done on this, and appreciate you, Jared, for working with us and being patient on that as well.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, 10E is a review of the proposed 2020 tax levy. and fiscal year.
Chairman, we need to do a.
Oh, I'm sorry. Roll call, please.
Alderman Williams, Streaming,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Troya,
She said yes.
4,
Yes.
6 yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure that we'll get B, C, and D reversed in order for the council. Okay. Now we have 10E, a review of the proposed 2020 tax levy and fiscal year 21-22 budget. We don't need a motion or anything on that, do we, Mayor?
No, sir.
Comptroller?
I'm just available for questions if you have any.
That's what I was gonna say. What we figured tonight, what we would do is, now that you've had a week to look at things, I appreciate Alderman Trolia coming in and meet with the comptroller. I know a number of you have called and asked questions and such, just to see if you guys have any questions after a first look. And if you see any kind of major adjustments or anything that you see us to make in this first draft before we come back to council next week.
Anybody?
Sure.
Alderman Iverson.
Yeah, the enterprise fund, which is the one that the Public Works, the discussions we've had about public work changes, that's under the enterprise, one of the enterprise funds, right? And where do I find them in the budget? I don't seem to have been able to find everything I was looking for.
So the very end of the budget is the enterprise funds. So if you have are you on your iPad? You have your.
I can get it up, right? Okay.
So there's two ways. You can just scroll to it at the end. It's towards the end of the budget, or if you hit Control F on your computer, that brings up a search bar. And
okay.
upper right-hand corner. So if you type in sanitary sewer, that will give you all of the different hits where that language is used. So mine, I have to click through it a couple times, but I think the 9 out of 11th result takes me to that fund.
So the search you hit F4, is that what you said?
Control F.
Control F, okay.
It's page 89 out of 119 in the PDF.
Okay. And those numbers, the changes in that we talked about are already included in the budget, am I right?
They are.
Is there a place I can look at the budget and see this is what the budget was last year or the current year, and this is what's proposed for next year overall? It may well be there and I'm missing it, but
For next year, so 22, 23,
yeah,
or for the budget we're working on?
the budget we're working on compared to the budget we're in as compared to the one we're looking at making.
Yeah, so if you look at page 89, the far right column is for fiscal year 21, 22.
Okay.
One column to the left is fiscal year 2021, so the budget we're in. And then if you continue to go to the left, it's actuals for the 3 years before that. So there's 5 years on the PDF. It's 3 years of actuals, so the 3 years prior, what we're in, and then what we're going to.
And Alderman Iverson, if you go to page 91 on the sewer service charges, that's where you see the Fund 46065. That shows the increase in proposed revenues from that collection.
Okay, wait a minute. I got lost. I was in the
Okay.
PowerPoints, not the
Page 91 of the budget. That's on the top. You'll look under your page 91 of 119, and it's the line item estimated revenues 46065 sewer service charges. That shows you your 2017, 18 through 2021.
Okay, hang on. I seem to be one page off every time you tell me to do something. Okay, page 89. Okay, I'll find it. I don't want to.
Page 91. Page 91, Bob.
91. Okay, I'm going backwards. I was going back the other way. 91.
Then estimated revenue sewer department.
Yes.
And then fund 46065.
Okay.
That's the second line item.
Gotcha. And it says what the budget is now, what the proposed budget is. Right. Okay. That's exactly what I was looking for. Thank you.
And I talked to Engineer Cole, and we will be getting a presentation probably next month on a lot of these changes to sanitary and storm and things. Okay. Questions on any other questions on tax levy or the budget? Any direction you want the administration to take, or the department heads, or anything?
I would like to reiterate that I'm happy to meet with anyone. If you have any questions, we can go through the budget. We can schedule something here at the office, or I'm happy to do a Zoom call with you if you're not comfortable meeting in person. So anytime.
Thank you, Comptroller.
Thank you.
Any items of information other than you're willing to meet with everybody anytime you need it? Okay. Okay, item number 11, closed session. There is no need for closed session. Item number 12, items of information. No one has a hand up. Committee members' comments?
No.
No? Okay. Having satisfied the agenda, motion for adjournment.
So move.
Second.
All righty. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
Thanks, Chairman, for getting us back through. Was it weird leading things again, or did
No,
you?
it's kind of fun, just going from one screen to the other, trying to read.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
was raising their hand?
You see why I have to have these guys help me pay attention when someone's got their hand up, huh?
Yeah, that's why I wasn't sure if I'd have to come to City Hall to do this or if I could actually do it from home, but